Good morning, everybody. How's it going? Are you ready to rock and roll? All right, let's quickly go into this because make it a bit of a short one today. Let me quickly have a look at Bitcoin. Oh wow, we're already above some key levels on Bitcoin. The 3-day candle yesterday closed very well. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of strength right now in Bitcoin, so definitely need to be patient with shorting. But we're coming into some really powerful resistance right now. We're into a fresh daily level which has now been tapped, and an old historic daily level which has previously held as resistance. We've just clearly gone through these naked levels, look, and we've actually back tested them as support now. So we're just looking at really bullish price action with no stopping. This long idea I had didn't come to fruition because there was no pullback. It's just non-stop. So when that happens, it happens, you know. You just have to accept it and think about the next trade. It's just the way it is. It's not a big deal. Is this the big move that's going to take us to the moon? Probably not. Never is. You have to think. Yeah, you can't think like that. You've got to be thinking about the next trade, but not the moon. Not the moon. The reason why you're not thinking about the moon is because we're into resistance. It's always the same, you know. We're into resistance, so the price could easily turn around right now. We don't know what's going to happen. That being said, it's been such a crazy rally. We're only about 5% from the previous high that was made. It's only $2,500 above us. I'm almost thinking there's no reason why we don't go and take out those highs here now, because it's been so aggressive. This move has been so aggressive. So this triangle breakout has been very aggressive, you know, in the volatility and the violence of this move. The volume has been good, and so possibly we're going to head up for that high. Actually, thinking about it, looking at it now, I can't see any weakness in the price action right now. The volume is good, increasing volume. We've already got good volume on today's candle already, and it's the end of the week. We've gone through these levels like Swiss cheese, like a hot knife through butter. We've sliced through these levels. Yeah, so this is obviously looking extremely bullish. You can't short here, not right now. That would be a bad idea. I think probably the next potential short will be a swing failure actually here, or you're looking for signs of weakness. And I think the best way to go about this now is, as the price starts going up, continues to go, I mean, it's pretty, look how aggressive that is. The angle is just beyond imagination. That's like a rocket launch. So while the price is behaving like this, I wouldn't long or short right now. I would just wait. Yeah, eventually you're going to get a situation where you break this pattern of a steep rise. Eventually, we don't know when it's going to happen. Then the price is going to range, right? And then when it ranges, the probability is that you're going to start making lower highs or flag or something, or probably flag or something like that. Yeah, then you can trade the range, and it will probably be better to short then, to short the highs and long the lows, the lows will probably be swing failures and the highs will be lower highs, probably. Like that's the probability of this kind of move when this pattern actually changes. So right now we're still in this kind of extremely steep move up, and while it's going up, you just have to wait. You wouldn't just jump in to long, because at the moment we're already overextended. If you look at the rise from here to here, and then from here to here, we're already overextended, you know. Let me see. Yeah, we're way past the 1-to-1. We're now into the 1.618. We're into the 1.618. So we're at a good place where the price can stop for a while. And I think that would be David, good morning. Let's go. Should I all in short? Yes, go for it. No. I think we're at a good place where the price is now going to range, actually. So even though it's looking extremely bullish, we're already highly extended on today's candle. Yeah. The only way for this candle to become even more extended is a short squeeze. And we're quite far away from the pivot high to squeeze to turn this candle into some kind of god-forsaken god candle. Yeah. So I wouldn't, my money's not on a higher candle. My money right now would be on ranging in this higher range. We have some clearly defined levels. We have this monthly level here. We have these previous points of control here, and we have these days. So this is basically our range right now. I think, based on what I'm seeing right now, we have a clearly defined range. And I think what I would be thinking about doing now, this candle that took us into the range, we're only just into the range. And what I would be thinking about doing now is just trading this volume range right now. That's kind of what I'm imagining for today. Yeah, because we're at the top of the daily extension now. So now I think maybe the price is going to exhaust a little bit. Let me just have a look at this. Yeah, look, we're already we're already at the in silico exhaustion line. It's just forming now. You see that? Just forming now in the last hour. So I think this is a good place. Actually, this is a good place to short, but you're not going to short into strength. That's not a good idea. I think the best idea right now is let the range form and then just trade the range. And I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if for the next 2 days, we just range here. All the way through the weekend. I wouldn't be surprised now. And I think what's going to happen is you're going to get a lot of people start taking profit. A lot of latecomers are going to come and they're going to late long, hoping for more. And I think what you want to do now is you want to short the highs and then long the lows and just trade the range. I think that would be the best course of action. I think the best entry is going to be down here at the monthly level. And we're already at the best entry for shorting. We're at these higher time frame daily levels. Yeah. And then what else can I see? Well, let me just do a quick fib. Let me just pull this range pull as well, see where we are. Let me get rid of these volume levels now. Yeah, we just sliced through that golden pocket like it doesn't exist. So we're in the into the 786 as well. We're at a really good place now for the price to potentially range. And it makes sense actually, because when you look at this previous range, Yeah. So actually, you can just focus on this previous range, and I think it will probably range in the. Now, let me tell you something. This getting back into a previous higher range is a massive sign of strength. Massive. Yeah. So really, the indication for the SOS was getting back into this value area low above this golden pocket, and once we got in, the volume just kept on pushing through. So I think what will happen now potentially is one of two things. We range here for continuation, or we range here for a failed auction. So we're looking at two ideas here now, and we just have to see which one is playing out. But we either have a failed auction or we have continuation. Nothing is going to be clear until we range and start seeing if we start seeing any kind of divergences. Yeah, but the volume right now has been quite good, and because the volume has been good, my money is on continuation. Yeah, we haven't really seen a bearish rise. We've seen quite a bullish rise in terms of volume. So I think a little bit of consolidation here, and then maybe we get, look at that weekly candle, that's very bullish. So if the weekly candle, even if it ends here, you could potentially, you got a lot of room in that weekly candle for a pullback and continuation next week. It could pull all the way back next week to the value area high and then push, then another push, and then basically what you're experiencing is a continuation of this wave 5. So what I would say potentially is that this wave 5 hasn't even ended if we have a continuation here. This isn't the impulsive move for the wave 3. This is the wave 5 of 1. So you could potentially get the wave 5 continuing. And that would be your 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you could potentially get a 5 going all the way up to the all-time high, potentially. That would be crazy but bullish. If we can get up to the all-time high now, that would be crazy bullish. Crazy. We'll have to see what happens. So we're either going, I think for the next couple of days, my money would be on ranging and just trade the volume range at the moment. All right. Any questions? Let me have a look at EXO quickly and see if I see anything. No, I mean, we had bearish CVD, which was just, the shorts were destroyed. Just look at this. Look at the rise. Just really lots of small liquidation bubbles. You had a big long coming here. Look, see that OI? 18 million. Look at that. 18 million. That was last night. Last night you had an increase in OI, 18 million. This rise up has been longs. Wow, there's a lot of volume. Huh? Look, 21 million. There's a lot of volume. There's a lot of volume in this rise. So you just have to be careful of that. There's a lot of volume. We just have a look at the higher time frame. I think Let's have a look at the session here. This session, that's a good place to long here. This Asia session point of control. If you want a long, that's probably your best long. It'll be 46080. 46080 if you're looking to long. But I mean, you have to take profit really because you're longing the highs. Probably this the swing failure of that candle be a good place to long. And go back down and just long that. That would be the Asia session point of control. And if we can get back to the daily open, then I don't know, previous day high would be good as well. You've got a few levels where you can long at the moment. Let me have a look at some other things. Order flow. Okay, let me look at this. Daily. It's on volume chart. Any questions? Let me just merge a few of these periods and see. I haven't done this in a while. Just merge all of them. Let's have a look. Yeah, let's merge it all the way back to these highs and see what the overall is. Is that all of it? Looks like all of it. Basically, I've merged all of these periods together, and yeah, the point of control is way low. It's at like 4,000, 43,000, and the value area high is at 45,550. 45,000. lower actually. No. 44,650. Yeah, 44,625 there. 44625. Let me have a look at this. 44625. Let me see if that lines up with our value area. 44625. 446. It's a bit higher, huh? 44625. Yeah, it's about the same area. Dan, good morning. Hi, Amir. He says, are you familiar with left translated and right translated cycle theories? I have no idea what they are. Let me Google that. I'm interested. Left translated and cycle theories. Excuse me. Right, let's just have a look at this. Tell me, are you familiar? Educate me. A cycle is an event such as a price high or low. Okay, I know that. The perfect cycle. Okay, got that. Cycle characteristics. Calendar cycles. Alright, that didn't help. Let's see what this says. Left translated cycles are bad news. First thought background information. And there's a lot of information. I need to read up on this to fully understand it. What do you say? Dan is saying, I think it's from Bob Lucas. He's a trader with a very good track record in BTC trading. Bob Lucas. Oh god, he does have a lot of followers. Huh? Position trader, investor. Okay, let's see what this is. Strong action continues in stocks as it powers forwards to a likely Feb cycle top. What does left translated mean? The price top of the cycle occurs early in the 4-year period. The period is measured from trough to trough. That allows for more time to decline over the period and generally results in the lower low forming from one cycle to another. It's the true bear or declining 4-year cycle that gives the longer 16-year, in this case, cycle the time to form its own bottom. The chart below shows 4 times 4-year cycles within a 16-year cycle. The last cycle tops early to give 16-year cycle room in declining secular bear phase. It goes without saying, this isn't written in stone. It's a general guide on how cycles behave. So he's saying there's going to be like 4 4-year cycles, and then the 4th one is going to come early. in theory, the Bitcoin 2026 lows would actually form below where Bitcoin drops in 2022. Yep, hard to believe, right? I also couldn't believe the Nasdaq could drop 80% from 2000, and that stocks like Amazon, Apple could drop 90% and 85%. What's the point? Mostly, I don't believe a true blow-off mania in crypto has occurred yet. And given 10 years of mania adoption hype, it certainly deserves a worthy blow-off. And given where we stand in the 4-year cycle, a major opportunity is once more on our doorstep. And you thought this 4-year cycle with its stop-starts was difficult to trade. You haven't seen anything yet. By the time Bitcoin is clearly in a new powerful 4-year cycle, most of the move will all be done. Yet the media and your favorite celebrity influencer will be just getting started, and calls for super cycle will dwarf the last cycle calls. I think next 4-year cycle surprises most people because looking at the prior chart, this 4-year cycle profile needs to be vastly different. Macro analysts and Bitcoin maxis will be right, then wrong, because they are too conditioned to prior cycle behavior and halving. Followers of the 4-year cycle videos know this isn't a new view. It's been discussed in many of the videos of the past 4 years on YouTube. I stand by this view because, not because of Bitcoin behavior, but because I'm a believer in the repetitive cycle behaviors of humans. I agree with that. So basically what he's saying, I actually agree with him, surprisingly enough. I always thought, all right, I'll tell you what I think. Yeah, I always had this thought in my mind anyway, yeah, but I didn't know what it was called, and I actually agree with him. And who knows, right? Who can predict the future? This is my higher time frame BTC chart, right? And we're in the wave 1 now, and I don't really see the wave, this move going beyond this midpoint channel that I have. I don't really see that. I could be wrong, but I don't see it. Okay, so by the end of 25 or earlier, I think the max I'm potentially envisioning is 180, but honestly, who knows, because we are in this previous bull market channel here, and if we find resistance here, then we could just this could be the peak of our wave 5, and that will put us at 100,000. So you just don't know how this is going to behave in the future. But I do think if we go up, there's a greater chance that we go down. Like, the higher you go, the harder you fall, right? So we have to see how this plays out. Like, I think if we have a weak expansion, then maybe I'm not necessarily too sure of his theory coming into effect. I almost think we have to go higher to create that explosion and hype and euphoria, which is going to cause the crazy drop that he's kind of contemplating. But the one thing that I am seeing on the higher time frame, when you look at the whole of the one thing I'm seeing, let me get rid of these. See, look, we have a rounding top, huh? This is what I'm seeing. It's a rounding top. And it's kind of like that, right? So if we do go up and break this top, and then we could see an explosion like that, which could sell into, then that's going to look crazy bearish, and then you'll have a massive sell-off, and then you could be hitting the lows here and coming back into this kind of previous support level, and then we could potentially be looking at a prolonged bear market potentially, which is just going to range. I don't know. That's one idea that I have, like a crazy explosion, just because the range is being constrained at the top part of this rounding top. Yeah, so I think it's going to be really predictable if we just go down and but then if that happens, then potentially the next move is going to be a lower high, and then we are going to go into an extended downtrend like that. I don't know, but I do have this idea that maybe we do explode, just because it's being constrained by this rounding top here. You know, we're nearly there, to be honest with you. When I look at this, we're nearly there. We're nearly at the top. Like, we're above 50% of the distance to the top of this kind of rounding behavior. And so if we do get an explosion, then he could be right. And then he's saying that it's going to be shorter as well. So that's also something to bear in mind. So if it's going to be shorter, then we're expecting it to maybe only last a year now instead of a year and a half. And then you do get a blow off top. Yeah, I did have that in mind before, but I mean, it's hard to predict the future. So you just have to see what happens at levels, and you have to go level to level. So in my mind, obviously the first key level to flip into support in the higher time frame is this all-time high. We get above there and flip it into support, then you're looking for higher prices, unless you get a failed auction. Yeah, so there's only one of two things that can happen when you get above a previous level. You can either consolidate above a previous high for continuation, or you can get a failed auction. Yeah, and that's really the only two things that are going to happen in that situation. Now, if we get a failed auction, you could get another failed auction to go back up. You know, you could get two failed auctions in a row. That's going to look really bullish. And then obviously if you go up, then you're just going up as far as possible. You're in price discovery. There's no volume. And then it will be all about hysteria, hype, euphoria, mass media, and all of the retail markets and celebrities pumping the price up as high as possible. So that's something to bear in mind. I think I'm not really fussed about Bitcoin, to be honest with you. I'm really more interested in altcoins, because that's where most of the money is going to be made. I don't mind if Bitcoin pumps to the moon, simply because then altcoins will pump to the moon too. And that's where most of the money is going to be made. Most of the crypto traders are going to be making their money on altcoins. And so when I look at, this is an interesting chart, this one, this total market cap. So we're into, basically we're into a golden pocket resistance right now. We get back to the higher all-time high, we're at 3 trillion. So we're only at 1.7 trillion now. We get back to the all-time high at 3. I wouldn't be surprised if we expand from 3 trillion to, at the very least, 4.5, which would be there, and maybe up to 6. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we double. So when I look at the previous high here, that was 760 billion, and that went up to 3 trillion. So that kind of 5x'd. So you had a 5x from this high to this high. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do a 2x from this high to the next high. 1.5 to 2x, and 6 trillion will put us there. So I'm keeping an eye on this as well. And then we have to see how that plays out, because the way it works with crypto, as you already know, is that it's about capital rotation. So just because, you know, first Bitcoin will pump and then the altcoins will pump, it's not all like all the coins won't pump at the same time. And so hold on, let's see, 1 second, someone is messaging me. Someone's trying to video chat me, and I'm saying I'm in a live stream. So I'm going to send them my live stream link. Why are you watching? Stop trying to video me. Watch me on live stream. Wait, how do I do this? God, how do I share? Don't know how to share. There it is. Who knows about the future? Like, no one can really predict the future, but I'm not expecting another 5x. And that naturally we have on the total market cap chart, we have some clear resistance lines. Let me have a look. So that's pretty, look at that, that's pretty solid. And if I put that in a parallel channel, which I usually do, pull it down to this low, or that low. This is quite subjective. Channels are very subjective. Maybe that. It's very, yeah, it's very hard to do channels. That's the monthly time frame. Let me do it on the weekly time frame. I mean, we are into resistance now, as you can see. If this mid channel is in play, there is a little reaction here. Here, a little bit of a reaction here. Kind of, not really, yeah, a little bit, just a little bit. So it's not great, but it's okay. So we are into a little bit of resistance here. I think if we do get above, I don't really see us getting beyond the extent of this channel high. I think that would be the max in my mind. And that would be really bullish as it is. So, and then obviously if you do a fib extension on this, that would be quite interesting to do. Let's do that together. Like a 1.618, you're at 7 trillion. That's pretty overextended, huh? 7 trillion is pretty overextended. And then if Bitcoin has about, yeah, we have to see what the Bitcoin dominance is like as well, because it all depends. Like there's different, that we have to see how it plays out. This is a wave fiver. Look, you can see. So when you're looking at the Elliott waves, I'm just kind of doing this rough, but that's like one. There's your one. There's your 3. So we're in, you know, we're in the 5 now. We could overextend her. If we hit the top of this channel, we are overextending. And so naturally, when it comes to Elliott waves, right? And I think this is something people need to realize. If you have a whole wave, if this whole thing is your wave 1 to the top, phone just dropped. Hold on, let me just put this down. If you have a wave 1 that goes from 0, God, if I could draw this properly, can't. Say that's your 1. And technically, technically, your 2 can come all the way down here as long as you don't make a new low. So there is reason to think that we are going down after we form the 5 on this 5. That's what I'm thinking about Bitcoin as well, because Bitcoin is behaving exactly the same way. When you look at the Bitcoin Elliott waves and the higher time frame, I did this before properly, and I deleted it. Let me just check this. Great. Rename is flips. Get rid of these. And trend line. Delete that. And then what's this one? What's that one? Right. And I'm not going to really take time doing it now because it's going to take a long time. But in a gist, I think we just ignore that first part. You almost have to ignore this whole first part, this whole first bit, almost, just because the market was really early and it was really low volume, in the sense of, I mean, it wasn't, because you can see the volume is high, but in the sense of it was only a small amount of people in comparison to the now market. I kind of think that this is it. Like, it's like from there to there. That's your 1. Let me just draw it out. Here's your 1. I think that's what we're looking at now, which would correspond with the total market cap. And I think you just, in my mind, I'm ignoring this whole first part. It's like, look, it's like 7 waves. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like, what the hell? It's like it was almost like there was no correction when it went up here. The same here, huh? And usually with Elliott waves, the 4 won't come underneath the 1. So there is a little bit of crossover. I don't know if that matters so much, because I know in 2017 this was well overextended. So you could argue that It is correct. And then you have that's your 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's your 5. This is your ABC. That would work. And this is just I don't know what this is, but you can probably find 5 waves in there somewhere. Let me see. Maybe 1, 2. Yeah, 3, 4, 5, something like that. So in my mind, what I'm thinking is, if we're in if we're in wave 5 now, then this whole thing becomes your 1, huh? This whole arm is your 1, and that kind of, in my mind, that corresponds to the total market cap. This one, that kind of corresponds to this, where we went from a 2.5 billion market cap in 2015 to the peak at the moment was a 3 trillion market cap. And then if we do extend, let me see the 1 to 2. Okay, look, so 1.618 is extended, and a 1 to 2 would put us at 12 trillion market cap. That is very extended, but it could work, because look, if we get above this channel, you know, then I mean, it's possible. It's very possible. That's about a 6x. It'd be very extended, huh? You're looking at what you're talking about is going to happen, if that happens, and maybe not even all the way. Who knows? Who knows where it's going to end? And then what I would think, let me just do some other things. Let me see. So if you do fib time, I'm just doing this roughly. Right, let me do it a bit more precise. Let me do fib time. Hold on. Let me get the highest there. I didn't mean to do this morning because I've got to go soon, but you know, I'm so obsessed with the charts that I don't mind. So you kind of like, the thing about fib time is it's not an exact line, it's a range. It's an area. Let's try it from the 2 to the 3 to the 4. Let's do on Bitcoin instead. Let's see if Bitcoin is better. just it's not precise, sir. Look, it peaked in November, and your 618, it was coming to 50,000 in August, based on this VIP time, unless the one started earlier. If it started there, then your December, then your 618 is coming to December. It's still about the same price. But I don't think that's correct. I think the impulse always starts at the low before the impulse. And then it goes to the high. And you've clearly got an ABC here. And that basically puts your 618 on fib time somewhere in August 21. So no, it's not really rhyming on the higher time frame. Not correctly. Not like you would want it to rhyme. So then the other way to do it would be, how else would you do it? Let me think. That's the low there, to the high, to the low. No. 1 2 2 1 2 2 3 4. Let's do it to the 2 3 4. Six 1 8. Look, the 6 1 8 is where we stopped here. Then we started ranging end of December. The next pivot based on this is somewhere in July, 1 to 1. And this rate, this move to this move, unless that one, that one. I don't know. I got to play around with it. I'm not going to play around with it now, but I do agree with what you're saying in that it is possible to experience what he's suggesting, which is one last crazy overextend, like a real crazy. I think it's possible. I really do think it's possible. I think the world is getting ready for that kind of moment where people have known about crypto long enough to FOMO in at the highs at the end of a euphoric rally and just pump up all of the prices crazy. You get some. I really think that's possible. Yeah, I think that's one of two scenarios. I think the other scenario is a nothing. But actually what I've been seeing on Twitter now is a lot of people saying, I think the high is going to be 80,000. I think the high is going to be 100,000. I'll show you. Look. I saw it in Crypto Tony, but I've seen it on a lot of Twitter pages. I saw him say it recently, actually. Let me just quickly have a look. See if I can find it. I saw him say about 80,000 somewhere. I've seen a lot of people say that. Bitcoin price target Let's see. I'll keep an eye on it. If I see another person, a few people say it, I'll take a screenshot. Because I've seen a lot of people say this time round it's only going to be 80,000 or 100,000. And I'm thinking to myself, well, Bitcoin never does what people say. So if people are like conservative in their higher time frame estimation, then I really wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin goes way over. Yeah. And if people start calling for Bitcoin at 80,000 top, then I'm thinking higher. And then the other thing that I'm keeping an eye on is the pi cycle. So I've got the pi cycle top indicator. And so I'm going to be keeping an eye on that. Let me just find it now. And so the pi cycle top has been really accurate over the last few runs. So let me just put it back on. So, the hell? What did I do? The hell? What did I get here? Don't want to go to his stupid. This is Crypto Tony's indicators. I got it from the last bull market. But I couldn't figure out how to use it. It's like it's really custom. I think I have to use it on the daily chart. Okay, yeah. So there you go. See that? I'm gonna keep an eye on this indicator, this pi cycle top, and see when it gives. I think a lot of people are gonna be using this, and that's why I'm not. I remember the last bull market. I didn't have a clue about this, and people were calling. Look at it. People called the pi cycle flagged at the top, literally. And then I remember a lot of influencers saying this isn't the top, Bitcoin's going to the moon. I remember that. And they just ignored the top, and a lot of people got burnt as a result. And to be fair, it wasn't the top, this was the top here. But as far as I mean, look, this is the top, so it got it right. So I'll keep an eye on that. Let me have a look at it on the other Bitcoin chart, the more data. You see that? It's called the top twice. Let me see. 3 times. See that? So actually the pi cycle top's calling the tops. So I don't know if you've used this before, but the pi cycle top, it works. So I'm gonna, the minute that flags, I think it's a good idea to just exit Bitcoin, because I think a lot of people are going to be using it. And you just have to go with the market, right? You just have to go with the momentum of the market. If all of a sudden 50% of the market sees the pi cycle top flag atop, they're going to stop trading. They're going to stop buying Bitcoin. And the fact that it's done it 4 times correctly, I don't see why it won't do it again. And keep an eye on that indicator. I don't need it now because we're nowhere near the top. So let's see how that plays out. All right. Any other things, questions, thoughts? I'll have a look at that that left indicator, the left translated indicator cycle theory. I'll read up on it and I'll have a look. So basically, when it comes to yesterday, we had a big news on TRVL. And for those who aren't aware, I'm going to quickly go over it. Let me have a look. So what happened is that Dtravel made an announcement And hold on, I've got to take this phone call. So basically, yesterday there was a big announcement on the Dtravel Twitter, and also on the Telegram. So let me just have a look and just read it out for you guys. We're excited to announce that Borderless Cap, which is Borderless Capital, has given Dtravel their stamp of approval with the token investment into TRVL. Having supported the success of protocols and ecosystems like Helium, Wormhole, Algorand, Solana, Filecoin, Hivemapper, Polygon, Demo, and more, Borderless Capital sees its commitment to Dtravel as a new frontier for the adoption of DePIN. Quote, Dtravel is bringing a transformational approach to the vacation rental industry and Web3. We see a lot of potential in the DePIN service networks and believe that the travel market is ripe for disruption, with projects such as Dtravel leading the way. We believe Dtravel will be a driver of Web3 adoption, and it's something we're excited to support and help grow. End quote, by Alvaro Gracia, Borderless Capital. So that's pretty exciting, huh? And so if people don't know about Borderless Capital, they're a leading Web3 native investment manager with focus on fostering dynamic blockchain ecosystems and dedicated to help founders achieve their full potential. Have a quick look at their website to see what they're about. This is it. The future is borderless. So their mission is to support the next wave of creators who are driving the development of innovative technologies that will enable borderless value creation. Their team brings over 2 decades of entrepreneurial experience building digital payments infrastructure, blockchain platforms, and hardware companies globally. They have been investing in infrastructure, business applications, and emerging cryptographic protocols since 2015. And they believe that blockchain ecosystems are game-changing technologies with immense transformative potential. All right. And so this is them. So these are the founders. Why is it going to the left? This is them. Look at the, so we've got these guys on our team. Right. We've even got a robot. Sophia AI. We have an AI who's the head of AI. That's funny. Let's go back to the founders. Oh, why does that flip to the left? That's annoying. They need to sort their website out. Oh, okay, because I'm rolling it. That's so Chris Bruce and Sean Carey, co-founders. Constantine Richer. So all these guys are on our team now, basically. They're all part of Dtravel. Look, TravelX. I've never heard of TravelX. And let's have a look at their portfolio. Algorand. Lots of like lots of things, huh? They've got a lot of investments. I think so a lot of people, when you go to, when I was looking at the Telegram group yesterday, let's go to the Dtravel Telegram quickly. So obviously there's a big conversations going on in the Dtravel Telegram because this is quite a big announcement and people are kind of curious to know the impact. So look, Cynthia says, hey all, we're excited to announce that Borderless Capital has given Dtravel their stamp of approval, having supported. Okay, so I basically read that out. So Altruist asks, what is the value of this investment and type? Is it equity or in tokens? Cynthia responds, we don't have equity. So it's really important that people realize there's no equity. We're a DAO, it's a foundation, and there's no equity. And technically the value is in the tokens. So they're basically, what I'm getting from this is that they've taken a large position in TRVL, right? So they've basically given TRVL value, and what Dtravel is getting as a result is capital, real world capital, i.e. money. And that's going to basically allow Dtravel to take the project to the next level in terms of development and in terms of marketing and everything else that goes with it. And so I think this is really important that this happened now, because we are at the beginning of the Bitcoin bull market and we need that investment now to push us to the next level. And not only do we need that investment now, I think the expertise that this company brings is invaluable. That we need their expertise, we need their network and their guidance and their support. And obviously this is the beginning and not the end. So they've taken the first step, and I think this is really exciting, because I think for a long period of time, I think Dtravel, you know, it's a startup, isn't it? It's like they're creating something new, but they don't really know whether it's going to succeed or not. This is going to basically this is the first kind of significant stamp of approval, which is going to basically secure Dtravel for the future. I think this is really important that this happened now. I think a lot of people were a little bit hesitant and they were anticipating a decline maybe, and this basically prevents that from happening, because when you get one of these big funds back you, they're not going to let you decline. It's not in their interest to allow their investment decline, you know, and they probably have a lot more capital on the sidelines to prevent that from happening, because naturally these big venture capitalist firms, they don't want their startups investments to decline. They want their investments to succeed and grow. So to have their support is invaluable. That's what I think, and I actually wrote that Borderless are great partners, and I'm looking forward to seeing how their input takes us to the next level. And actually what I'm thinking is we need as many partners as possible going forward. I think what we have to do is we have to get Dtravel out there. Everyone has to hear about Dtravel, and we need to build our network, and we need to grow our network, and we need as many network partners as possible. And I think this is a massive step. It's also going to give other investors confidence to invest. Now, based on what I'm seeing, this was an off-market investment. So they didn't buy token from the market. They bought it directly from Dtravel. So there was no reflection on the token price. So that's something to note. So when you have a look at the charts, you're thinking to yourself, well, obviously I think a lot of people are asking, well, why hasn't the token price gone up? If these guys are taking a material stake in Dtravel, you know, nothing's happened to the token value. And the reason why, and just for clarity's sake, just for transparency's sake, it's very obvious. They bought the token off the market, not on the market. That doesn't mean anything really. Like, fair enough, they haven't bought on the market. The market is still liquid in that sense. They haven't just extracted all of that liquidity from the market. But for them to take a significant stake in Dtravel via their token TRVL is a big deal, because I think Dtravel needed the money, and we don't want Dtravel to sell the token at the lows to fund the growth, which is absolutely essential right now. We need to grow quickly because we have a lot of development that we need to fund, and obviously the marketing is really important too. And I think it would have been detrimental for Dtravel to sell their token on the market at the lows to raise capital. And I think that was the right move, and we'll see what happens basically. And possibly that's going to give a lot of people in the market, smaller investors, confidence to buy TRVL from the market, you know. So not everyone is going to have the ability to do that. And so naturally, if someone wants to sees what Borderless are doing and sees the kind of the news announcements, and they want to buy TRVL, they're obviously going to buy it off the market. So we had a little bit of rise in value in the price of TRVL yesterday. That was normal. And what we're actually doing when you're looking at the price, and I did say this, I didn't want us to get bearish, and what we're basically just ranging right now. That's basically what's happening. It's very boring, you know, but we're just ranging, you know. So when you look at MEX, you see the price came basically almost to the point of control and just came back up. And on different exchanges, it will look slightly different. Let me just delete all this. Get rid of all these stuff. On Gate, came back to the point. See, it came back to the point of control. It found support. So the point of control is giving support on two of the exchanges right now. Let's have a look at KuCoin quickly. On KuCoin, the point of control is slightly above us still. So this move up has come from MEX and Gate, not from KuCoin. But there's a little bit of strength here because, you know, we've come back above this pivot low. I think that's quite a good sign. That's kind of what you want to see. You don't want us to, you know, that's hopefully if that comes down, it can form support to go back up like that. And I think, let me have a quicker look at Bybit. Again, the point of control is at roughly the same place as on KuCoin. And look at the Bitcoin chart. We're kind of teetering around the point of control. We've kind of lost it, actually. We're losing it today. We had a little injection of volume yesterday, and now the price is pulling back. I think the price is pulling back on Bitcoin because of Bitcoin. You know, Bitcoin is showing a little bit of strength, and so naturally the price is going to pull back on the Bitcoin chart with all the altcoins. But I mean, we're still in this range. We're still in the range. We're at the value area low of this range. We're still within this range. We're in the volume range here, and we're in the price range here. There's a lower range down here. And, you know, when you're looking at this kind of this volume area now, when you're comparing TRVL to Bitcoin. From when we entered it, the last time we entered this volume range, it was April 23. So basically you can see that we're in this range, and so we're kind of going up and down with Bitcoin at the moment. We're in a range. We're not in free fall, we're just ranging. You know, if you see when we came back into it here, we're kind of just ranging. Right now we're in up, and now we're just ranging. This is a range, and so naturally I think we're just going to continue to range. And probably what's going to happen, probably in the future, when Bitcoin does get above the all-time high and it has its kind of explosive rally, and then you're going to start seeing capital rotate into the altcoins. And then when you're looking at the altcoins, I think a lot of people are curious to know when is alt season, when is alt season. Well, there's a few things that need to line up for alt season. The first thing is that Bitcoin must be strong. Yeah. And there's two types of strength that you want to see in Bitcoin. There's two types of strength. You want to see Bitcoin on support, and you want to see Bitcoin just consolidating, just going sideways. Yeah. So if we get above this level here, this high here, and just start consolidating there, that's exactly what you want to see. Yeah, that is going to be a really good place for a mini alt season right there. Yeah, so if we go up here into resistance somehow and then start pulling back, that's not what you want to see. Yeah, so you want to see strength, and then you want to see sideways action, sideways consolidation above some kind of support level. So you want to see the strength plus being on support, and this is the kind of behavior that you want to see on Bitcoin first, right? And you know, when Bitcoin did kind of get into this range here, there was like a little bit of an alt explosion, a lot of alts. That's the first thing. The second thing you want to see is you want to see Bitcoin dominance fall, right? So right now Bitcoin dominance is going up. That's and you kind of want to see Bitcoin dominance come into resistance and pull back. And so right now, until we like go up and find resistance and then start to come back down, that has to coincide with Bitcoin flipping a level into support and consolidating. You need the timing to be on par. So you kind of want this to go up, flip it into support and consolidate. And then at the same time, what you want is you want Bitcoin dominance to pull back like that. So that's the second thing you want to see. And the third thing you want to see is you want to see bullish behavior on the total market, crypto market. You don't want to see bearish behavior on crypto market cap. So just looking at the crypto market cap, I can see it's bullish. And what would be even more bullish if it goes up to go up? Like if you start seeing that as well at the same time, and maybe also ETH BTC. So if you get these four behaviors, and so right now ETH BTC is falling, which is understandable because the flow of capital is going into Bitcoin. If BTC comes down one more time, finds support to go up, and the timings all correspond with Bitcoin dominance coming down, with Bitcoin going up and flipping a level into support and then consolidating, and the total crypto market cap going up and just going up, like showing real strength, then you're going to get alt season. That's kind of what you're looking for alt season. You need the stars to align for alt season. But the greatest alt season is going to be on a higher time frame in the future, when we flip the all-time high into support. That's going to be the greatest alt season. Yeah. And especially if Bitcoin starts to kind of go up like that, you know. That's going to be what people are really looking for, and that's, if that happens, then I think the alts are going to really rally. Yeah, if we can flip the all-time high of Bitcoin into support, then I think that's when we're really looking at a crazy alt season. And again, alt seasons, they don't last that long. I don't think people should expect alt seasons to last that long. They probably last a few weeks, maybe 6 weeks, and most coins will go through their 5 waves, but it depends on the tokens, because some tokens, there's a lot of, like, I mean, I've been looking at some tokens which I think there's too much volume, trapped volume. So you have to look at tokens and see if there's trapped volume. And so let me just give you an example. I think it was Gary, for example. Yeah. I'll show you. So when you're looking at like these altcoins, what you have to be aware of when you're looking at altcoins are whether you had the periods of volume in the highs like that. Yeah, if you see that behavior, just be careful, because there's a lot of trapped liquidity in the highs, and when you get an increase in value from the all-time lows, like here, yeah, like here, if this token manages to get back to that volume put into the highs, that's already a 54x. It's already a 54x from here back to that volume range. Yeah, 58x. See that? And to get past these higher price volume levels, it's going to require volume. But naturally, people who are entered from these lows, when the price does get up there, will take their profits because they're already up 58x. You know, so for every $1,000, they'll be extracting $58,000 at those levels. You have to be really careful with tokens that have put in high amounts of volume at the highs and have pulled back significantly, so that when the price does eventually get back to those levels, that it's already done a significant move. You don't really want to be in those. You've got to be really careful about those kind of tokens. So naturally, the safest tokens to enter, if people are looking to invest in altcoins, are the new ones. So for example, I think this is quite a good token, Prop S, for example. Yeah. And the reason why these types of tokens are good, I mean, obviously they must have, there's probably a real world case, a use case, that's by the by. The reason these tokens are good is because there is no volume in the highs. So eventually, when you get some kind of, like, this is just still consolidating. I would love to catch this token lower down. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm dreaming. Who knows? Who can predict the future? But we're in it. Like, this token is now clearly in a consolidation pattern, right? Prop S, and they're basically tokenizing real world assets. They're tokenizing property, and this is much more bullish compared to that other token I showed you, because it's only just been launched, and from the launch price, which is the initial investors to date, it's only 13x up, and there's a lot of room for growth. And then if the price does start to impulse, there's no volume, so you don't have to worry about clearing trapped liquidity in the highs. Yeah, and ideally with these kinds of tokens, these newer tokens, what you really want to see is a prolonged consolidation range. That's really what you want to see. Yeah, and you also, ideally, what you want to see is, you want to see the price to kind of go down. You really want to see the price to go down and to consolidate like that. That's kind of what you want to see, like a prolonged consolidation. You want to see the price to go down. If you get that, then usually these tokens can easily do like a 100x easily. Yeah, this one at the moment doesn't look like it's going down, and there's a lot of volume being put up in this higher level, and in my mind I want to buy it lower, so I still haven't bought any. I would love for this token to get a little bit bearish so I can buy some, but just because we're putting volume in here doesn't really faze me, because you're not trying to clear trapped liquidity from 4 years ago. Probably the same people who are putting in volume here, if the price does go down, will continue to accumulate lower down too. You know, it's not necessarily the same kind of trapped liquidity as clearing trapped liquidity from some kind of shit token like Gary, like this one, you know. And you have to be careful with these altcoins, because you can see that there was a rug pull. See that drop? The rug pull. The fact that this token is still trading, and the fact that people are still buying it, it's bizarre really. But you know, I've got a trade plan for it. I'm not going to take it, but I've got a trade plan for a good entry. All right, that's that. So I think I think that's it really. I don't know if anyone got any questions. I'll go back to TRVL. I think we're just ranging. I mean, I think it's quite boring at the moment. I think we're just accumulating. I think eventually the sellers are going to become really exhausted. And actually, this is quite bullish consolidation, because what you're experiencing here is consolidation underneath resistance. So we're clearly underneath resistance right now. This is MEXC, and we're at the top of this value area, underneath the value area high. If I look at KuCoin and look at the value area is slightly wider. See that? So there's still a little bit of divergence between the information coming from the exchanges. But right now with KuCoin, you can see that we're consolidating underneath the point of control. What we eventually need to happen is we need to get back up above this SR flip that I have marked out. This SR flip is really important. And I think that's what I'm imagining for TRVL, is I'm imagining just level to level to level. Like, I don't really necessarily feel that we need to impulse right now. If we just continue doing this, you know, we can just continue putting in volume, and let's just keep on going up in squares. Like, I'm okay with that. I'm really okay with that kind of price action, because that is really bullish. Like, people don't understand, because people are in their minds, people are only imagining impulsive price action. But the most bullish price action is the price action where you're going up level to level after forming consolidation ranges, and then you just keep on going up. And the reason why this is really bullish is because it makes it much more difficult to go back down. Yeah, it makes it really difficult to go down if we're going up level to level after putting in volume at each level. It makes it very difficult to go back down. And I think most people want that assurance that when they're investing into TRVL, that their investment is only going to go up. Like, people, I don't think that's a bad thing. And so, like, I'll give you an example. Like, if you go to like a token that I've been tracking, Myro the dog, like, you see easy up and easy down, like easy up, easy down. Like it's not very, it's not fun to be in this price action, to be honest with you. And no one really knows when to take profit. Then you get a lot of trapped traders. You know, there's already a lot of trapped liquidity at the highs here. Let me just delete all these lines. There's already a lot, I can already see a lot of trapped liquidity at these highs. And so we're back into the value area. This isn't great price. I mean, to be honest with you, it's very possible this goes down, you know. And the same thing happened to Grok. So I don't know if you know, guys are familiar with Grok, this rubbish meme coin. I'll show you. So that's the value area now. Look at all of that volume. See that? You see that volume in the higher, in this range that's been put in, all of this volume. So you have a lot of trapped liquidity there. And effectively what's happened is that whoever launched this token, the price pumped 24x to the high, 29x, like almost 30x. They took all of their profit, you know, for every $1,000 they made $30,000. They took all of their profit, and a lot of people who were chasing the pump are now trapped. They're trapped. Yeah, so they've invested value, and now they're down on their investment, right? And so naturally, it's going to be very difficult for the price to get back up, because you're going to get all of these people looking to exit at break even. You're going to get that kind of behavior. It is possible that this goes up, but it's going to probably be looking to make a lower high. You know, like it's going to be difficult to go up. And I think for most people who are in these kinds of tokens where it pumps so quickly and then they get trapped, it's not fun. It's not strong, you know. And there's no reason to think that this is going to go to the moon. It might, you know, in the future go to the moon, but it's going to be on the back of Bitcoin going into the all-time high probably, and it will probably be on the after a long consolidation period, you know, really long extended consolidation period, where you're actually putting in a lot more volume into the low of this range. That's kind of what you're looking for. The moment we've lost the value area. So technically what needs to happen is that more volume needs to be put here for the value area to come to move down, probably like that, with the point of control probably still at the highs. And effectively what you need to do is you need to move the point of control down and find support on the point of control. There's a lot of work that needs to be done in this, and for a lot of people who are trapped in this, it's not fun. It's not fun at all. And I think when I'm comparing this to TRVL, yeah, I'm thinking actually it is quite fun to be in this token, because we just, you know, we're just going nice and slowly. We're just going level to level. Let's go to the next level nice and slowly. I don't think that's a problem. I think that's fun. You know, and then people can just accumulate at higher levels, and you know, technically we only really need to impulse at the end of the bull market, where people are then going to be extracting the higher values. But the good thing about putting in so much volume at these levels is this is healthy volume. It's healthy bullish volume. And so in the future, eventually we will go up, and it'll be very difficult to get back down. It'll be very difficult to get back down into these lower prices. And so people who are investing now, they'll most probably be able to sit comfortably on their investment. If they never want to sell, they probably never need to, really. But obviously you should try and take profit in the highs. That's not a bad idea. All right. I'm gonna have to cut it short. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow, and stay safe. Let me just have a look at Bitcoin quickly. Yeah, Bitcoin is just I would just wait to see what happens. It's looking really bullish. Any questions? I see a few people watching, huh? David. No questions. All right. Have a fun day.